What's up, everybody? This is the Burn Your Boats production. That's what you get Thursdays, because apparently we weren't able to get this done yesterday, and that's actually going to be what we talk about today. We're going to talk about failing and the importance of failing. So I wasn't able, or I guess it's really I chose not to do a That's What You Get Wednesday last Wednesday, because that was when I did the giveaway for the raffle, which Pam Howe had won, and so I gave Burn Your Boats glasses to her and to Philip Howe, which was awesome. Super happy. I was able to get out there for one of their runs, and I was able to get them their glasses, and I just decided that was going to be my contribution to That's What You Get Wednesdays. Unfortunately, that kind of left y'all hanging. And then my intent was to do one yesterday, but yesterday I had things come up, but not in such a way where I couldn't have done a video. I had a back procedure and was medicated, but then I recovered, and I was even able to go and get some work done at the house that I'm trying to rent. And it just didn't happen. I just ended up choosing different actions instead of taking the time to do the video. And so I wanted to do it today because I was thinking about it, and I had just recently had some conversations with people and some interviews that will be coming up about failing and about just about what the impact for me and how failing to meet my own expectations, how that has impacted me in the past. And so there will be things like the one thing that specifically comes to mind particularly is working out. So in the Army we'd work out, as a unit, but then working out on my own, I would seem to catch waves of motivation, and not even waves of motivation as much as waves of consistency. So I would go to the gym and I would work out, and I'd be able to work out, and it would go a couple of weeks, maybe even a couple of months, and then I would miss a day, or we would have a field problem where we'd have to leave, and something would mess up the schedule, and then I wouldn't be able to keep the same pattern, and once that pattern was interrupted, I lost it. As soon as I fell off of the wagon, then I was done. It was I knew it was gonna be a couple of weeks at least until I got back on, and then it was gonna be starting all over, and it was rough. And that's been the case essentially like as far back as I can remember. And I will say that now I am in 5 months consecutive of working out consistently, but not consistently where nothing has come up. Things come up all the time. Whether they be medical back procedures, or it's work, or it's just life, and it's just scheduling, and I'm not able to get to it some days. And my big motivation is to not let those things become habits, not to let the one day become a habit. Even if I have to go into the gym and I suck and I'm lifting 20% less than I normally lift, and I'm in there for half of the time that I'm normally in there for, and I'm not able to stick in the steam room for 15 minutes like my goal is, but I'm only able to stay in for 7. All of those are better than not going, and that's where I keep my head kind of wrapped around, and it's just like presence. Just be there. Just put. If I'm going to make a choice, I'm going to make a choice to try to keep doing it. And if I'm screw up a day, then I'm not going to let it mess me up in the big picture plan. I'm going to show up the next day, and I'm going to make sure that no habit is established for the things that I don't want. And so that's why there is this That's What You Get Wednesday, which is shifted to today, which is That's What You Get Thursdays. Not quite the alliteration that I'm looking for, but it's still there. So I think the importance in here is acknowledging failure as part of the path, and to not push things off because of the fear of failure. I think that there's a lot of confusion. I actually heard this some months ago. I think it was actually I was on the way to do the interview with Jamie Whalen from the Tybee Post Theater, which came out maybe a month ago. Check it out. It's she had a great conversation about fear and about acknowledging her own fear and choosing to overcome it. And it's a phenomenal story. And just choosing yourself is great. I love that interview. But I think I was listening to I forget who was talking, but there was listening to a podcast, and I heard this expression. People often confuse lack of failure with success. And this goes to the idea of staying in your comfort zone, which is kind of what I'm pushing people to do with That's What You Get Wednesdays or Thursdays, and that if you are choosing to stay in your comfort zone, it's not likely that you're going to get a lot of growth. And I've been contemplating a lot recently the difference between happiness and satisfaction, and how much happiness you can have if you're not getting a sense of satisfaction. Um, so I put a lot of my focus on satisfaction and what it takes to feel satisfied. I think that happiness and satisfaction, both the thing that they have in common is that it's not a stagnant, it's not a place that you get to. It's a feeling that you can have, and it's a feeling that you can have frequently. I think that you have a lot of control over satisfaction. But it's about acknowledging the path to get there. I do not think that you can be satisfied without a sense of struggle and without a sense of accomplishment. That accomplishment doesn't come without a struggle, that's why sports are so amazing, because when you play sports, it's very unlikely that you're going to win every single aspect of every single engagement that you have in sports. And it's the beauty. It doesn't matter. It could be an individualized sport like swimming or wrestling or martial arts, or it can be group sports like basketball and football, and baseball. Baseball is actually really cool. I'm not a baseball fan. Yeah, I'm sorry, but baseball is cool because it's both. It's both. Like, you have elements of individualized activity, and you have elements of teamwork in the same game. And I think that that's really cool. So I have appreciation for baseball in that regard. Anyway, so to the point of failing, right? And why that's relevant. Well, if we are continuously finding ways to stay in our comfort zone, then we aren't taking the risk to potentially fail. We're doing things that we're comfortable. We're doing things that maybe we failed a little bit to get to the areas where we're good at doing this thing. Maybe I'm really good at working in Excel and working with formulas, and I can create these awesome presentations for other people, but I am not so great at getting up and presenting the information. And so I will create this thing, and it will have all the data, and it will reflect all of the information, and it's going to be great. And then Johnny or Susie is going to be the one who actually talks it. And I'm comfortable with that because I messed up a lot in Excel, but it wasn't in front of people, and so the failures that happened were internal, and they weren't seen by a lot of people. So it's fine. But they're done and they're in the past, and now I'm comfortable and I know the system, and I know how to work it and flex it and get all of the power and value extract from that for our needs. But I stay there and I stay in that comfort zone, and so I think that I'm succeeding, and I think that and I have a sense of happiness because I am providing value, but I don't have a sense of satisfaction, or I don't have the satisfaction to the extent, because I mean, you have to work through a product and you have to get the data, and so there's work to get there, and it can be tedious, but the more tedious and the less hard it is, the less satisfaction. At least I know that's the case for me. If it can be tedious, I'm like, okay, cool, I'm done. Okay, the person got it and they're happy, awesome. But if I had to work really hard and I had to learn and discover new things along the way in order to get this thing done, and then I had to overcome some sort of obstacle, my level of satisfaction upon the receipt of the product by the person I'm giving it to is going to be so much higher. And if I'm nervous getting in front of people, and I'm the one presenting the information after I did all the work, and then the presentation goes well, it's through the roof. But that only happens when I'm putting myself in that uncomfortable space. So it's so incredibly important for your own mental health and personal well-being to put yourself in these situations where you can grow, where you aren't confusing lack of failure with success. So you only succeed when you actually go out and you try to do something. If you're not going out and you're not actively trying to do something, you're not going to succeed. You're avoiding potential failures. And because I didn't fail, then I stay safe and I feel good. And so that is the lesson for today, is don't confuse. And so I'm jacking this from whoever said it. But I love it, and it's got so much power, and I've really wanted to share this with you guys because it impacts me every day, and it impacted the show. But I'm not going to let the fear of failure stop me from trying, and on the flip side, I'm not going to let failure stop me from following through. Like, I'll fail, and then I'm still going to show up, and I'm still going to come back. And so that's what I want to impart upon you guys. Don't let the lack of failure be confused with success, and don't let the existence of failure remove your motivation. Use it as a motivating factor, and actually sit there and ponder and actually think about why it is that you failed, and what choices you made led to that, because it all comes down to choices. And so, did I prioritize something else? Did I choose to sit down and watch 45 minutes or an hour of TV when I could have made the video, like for me yesterday? And that's what I want you guys to be a part of, and to consider. And the thing is, and to wrap this up, if you choose to not put yourself out there, and you allow the lack of failure to be confused with success, then that lack of personal growth and the lack of feeling of accomplishment, and the lack of satisfaction in your life, the existence of that's what you get. And that is what you get for this Thursday. Thanks, everyone. I love all of you so much. Thank you for always coming back. I appreciate you. I value you so much. And I cannot wait for tomorrow when I drop part 2 of Adam Messer and Mai's conversation. It is phenomenal, and I can't wait for y'all to listen to it. Thanks.